Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Can I answer questions?
Mack, in what ways have you seen Dre Bly develop and grow as a coach? Are there any specific areas that you feel like he's kind of taken off in?
Yeah, Dre was, he had a lot of experience with the pro camps, and he always went to a pro camp and worked, and he'd coach kids, younger kids. But this is the first time that he's had this type of schedule, number one, for recruiting and had his own position. And I thought that he and Coach Bateman worked really well together, and Jay helped him a lot in his progress. And one of the things that I thought about when we hired Gene Chizik in Charlton is Dre worked with them when they were here before, and they shadowed Charlton. He did with every meeting and watched everything on the practice field. So I think that's even going to enhance his ability to coach moving forward.
Mack, you have kind of an unorthodox beginning of the season with the schedule with Florida A&M, but then 2 straight home games at 2 live teams. How do you think those road games, do you think it's sort of going to prepare your team better than just another Keene State game for playing in the ACC?
Yes, we've got a 3-game schedule and then a week off, and then we start over with Notre Dame. So we're really just going to focus on the first 3 games and what we've got to do to win those games. I'm really excited about Florida A&M at home and celebrating HBCUs. We've got Coach Bill Hayes and Coach Rod Broadway coming in as our honorary captains. Florida A&M has Coach Rudy Hubbard coming in for their honorary captain, and they may have some more as they go. We're going to honor their band. We're going to honor the black fraternities and sororities on our campus. There will be a lot of different ceremonies that are going on for that game, and it'll be a highlighted game on ACC Network at 8 o'clock at night. So I'm really excited about starting the season in that fashion. Going to Boone, they've done as good as anybody in the country, and it's really hard to play up there. And the same with Georgia State. They had their best team ever. They beat Tennessee a couple of years ago. They ended up really, really strong. They've got everybody back. So those will be 3 really tough games for us to open up with, and we'll know who we are after week 3 because we've got a lot of question marks.
Coach, you guys are going through a lot of change since last year. You talked about the things you didn't like about the way last year went. So now that the spring's over, you're in the summer, and how are you feeling about how everything's gelling together from the new staff members to the big change in quarterback?
Yeah, everything I didn't like about last year so far I like about this year. I did not feel good standing here last year about where we were headed, and the expectations were sky high. The standard was set, but I didn't think our team and our staff were doing the things that we needed to do, and for some reason I didn't do a good job and didn't get it changed. So we've had the best spring I think we've ever had. I know since we've been here. The guys are hungry, they're eager, they're working so hard, and the leadership is better. We're doing a better job teaching leadership, and guys are stepping up. The changes on the staff are all really cohesive as a group. They're having a lot of fun together. Coach Chizik knew most of the guys on that side of the ball. Tommy Thigpen had worked with him, and knew Dre when he was here. Tim Crossy knew at Texas, and then he's got Dre Bly, who worked with he and Charlton some when they were here before. And with Coach Bicknell coming in with the offensive line, working with Phil Longo and Larry Porter in the past, we've got probably more cohesiveness on the staff we've ever had. And we've got more depth. The bench is your friend. And if a guy doesn't play well, you change him. You move him up and move another one down. So I really like this team headed into fall.
Coach, speaking more specifically about Coach Chizik, why do you feel like he's going to be so successful in helping turn that defense around and get you guys back into a national power conversation?
When you introduce Gene to your defensive staff and say he was the defensive coordinator that won the national championship for us when we were at Texas, and he was the head coach that won the national championship at Auburn, most people never win a national championship. Here's a guy that's won 2. So he walks in the room with a swagger, a confidence, and credibility that every player in that room says, wow. And then you start looking at the pro players he's coached. He and Charlton wore them both. And it's really gotten our defensive players' attention. And they're having fun and focused and excited about the fall.
Coach, what has changed the most in terms of UNC's recruiting from 2019, your first year here, you're back here, to now? And obviously NIL, but in terms of the level of recruiting, what y'all have done differently to enhance your recruiting?
The difference in year 1 and year 3 is that people know who we are. We have 3 years to show that we can be good and that we can play with anybody. We exceeded those expectations first year, exceeded them second year. We fell short last year. And everybody understands when they walk in this building, everybody in this building knows that we should have been better last year and we weren't. So recruits hear that. They feel that. They want to be part of something good. We've got a huge facility plan moving forward over the next couple of years. Kids want to be part of that. So we didn't have that when we first got here. So I think because we have a track record, most of our coaches have stayed. We've lost 3 coaches in 3 years. So they feel like we've got stability. And they like the players on our team, and the players that are here are happy. We didn't have any of that the first year. We had some of that the second year because the players didn't even know us. When we got here, we were all learning each other. So I think that the biggest thing right now is everybody knows who we are. And that's the thing. Everything's in place. The academics are in place. Having 1,000 on the APR when 1,000 is all you can get, and there's only 4 universities in the country that have it, sends a great message to parents when they're coming in that their son will get his degree if he comes here. Secondly, we've gotten really good recruiting classes back to back, and we've got very good players, so they know they're going to have to compete, but they also know that they got a chance to win because they got really good players. And then thirdly, we've had a real consistent coaching staff, so without a whole lot of turnover, they know that we're hiring really good coaches. When somebody does leave, we have few leave, so they feel like that our staff's going to be here, and they know I'm not going anywhere.
Coach, what's the next step for you guys as you kind of have your program going and upward trajectory? Kind of what are you looking for in this season?
We've done everything right here except win enough games. So the next step is to continue to work to win every game. And when people say, well, why do you say win every game? That's what we want. That's your goal. If you don't try to win every game and have that goal and that vision, then you can't do it. So what we've told our guys are your goal should be to be happy. Your goal should be to get a degree from North Carolina. Your goal should be to win every game and to better prepare yourself for life after football. Your dream should be the NFL. And that's kind of the way we are as coaches. We want to do all those things. We want to have a lot of fun. We want everybody to graduate. We want to win all the games. We want everybody better prepared when they leave here because that's our job to help them do that. And we've done all of those things except win all the games. And that's next.
Mack, the last 3 years, I guess, at this time of the year, you do start quarterback. When we know Greg as a goal, we were competing there. Is there any way an unsettled feeling just for you as a coach because that's a question mark of who that guy's going to be, or do you just say we're going to just let this thing play out and there's no sense in being unsettled at this time of year? What is just the emotion as a coach when it's not rock solid?
Yeah, I try to keep things very simple. And to me, we had this same situation 3 years ago at this time of the year, so we didn't know who was going to be the starter. We thought it might be Sam, but the other 2 had more experience. And then it was evident after summer that players would come to you and you ask older players who looked good in the summer because we don't get to watch them. And so in the summer we had Jevin Sneed and Colt McCoy at Texas. And Jevin probably led leaving spring practice. We got back in the fall and I asked the older guys, who looks the best? They said, Colt's your quarterback. It's 100%. And I said, why? And they said, he just is, Coach, you'll see. And he was. So I figure we'll get some feedback from players by the time we start preseason. But I like the fact that in modern day, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance to win. And we have a really strong quarterback room. So I'm not worried about that position. I think it's going to be good. I'm not sure when. I'm not sure who starts. I'm not sure how we do. But it's a very talented room, so we're going to be okay. And one of the things that we did at Texas, that room got thin. And we weren't as good when I finished there in that room overall. So we're going to make sure that that's one room that never gets thin. What else?
Coach, tell them about the family week if you have it.
I just did.
You did?
Yeah.
On the sort of flip side of that, is there a position group that you feel the most assured with, be it from a depth perspective, an experience perspective, and upside perspective? Is there a group that you really feel confident can be, one of the backbones of this team?
Right now, I like everything. The offensive line was very impressive in spring. The running backs, what we got a lot of players at each position, and some of it's not defined yet. And that's why we're trying to sell really hard that the blue team's the first team, and we may have 15 blue team players on the offense. We may have 22 on defense, and the blue team is it's defined by who you can put in the game at any time and not worry about them winning. So if they get the ball on the 10-yard line and you say, Des Evans, go in, Javari, you get in, they're both blue team players, so it doesn't matter. And that's what I like most about this team. We've got 6 running backs that are all really good. Who's going to step up? And we've got to do a great job of developing those guys and separating them to figure out who's going to be the best player in the game. We determine it in 2 ways. Who practices up to the standard every day to win the games? That's who's going to play. And then off the field, because some of them don't have the ability to play, and especially to be a blue team player, who off the field is going to class and doing things right and acting right and better preparing yourself for life after football. So we got 2 standards. And you have to have ability and do everything right to be on the field. And we got to live up to that standard and quit talking about who we're going to beat, how many we're going to win, all that kind of stuff. We want to win all of them, but you got to play up to a standard. And if we play to our standard and it's not good enough, we got to recruit better. And that's just kind of who we are. Any other questions?
We good?
Okay, thank you all. Have a great summer.